Hey guys, welcome to Fortuna Cucina. Today, I'm gonna teach you how to make an amazing dish. This is a side dish, but you can make it a full dish, I guess, if you want. I just had a great idea of how to use them, and that is my Parmesan potatoes. These are like potato wedges, but you could turn them into some kind of diced potato if you want. But I'm gonna be showing you how to make the Parmesan potatoes, and they're delicious. First of all, let's talk about how we're gonna set yourself up for success. I've talked with a lot of people about cooking from scratch, and especially women who are really busy, especially my girls who are business owners, and you're like, girl, I don't have time to mess around in the kitchen all day. I feel you, but there's some things that we can do to set yourself up for success, and you're actually cutting down on time when you do this. One of the things is we can prep your potatoes ahead of time. Now, we're gonna be doing this first step anyway, but let's talk for a hot second about if you're not making the potatoes today and you're making them another day. Here are the steps in our process, just so you know. For these Parmesan potatoes, we're first going to parboil our potatoes for 8 minutes, and we're gonna blanch them, meaning we're gonna put them into a bowl of ice water. And this cuts that cooking immediately, and so your potatoes will stop cooking. So once we've done that and you strained your potatoes and they're dry, if you are not gonna be cooking the potatoes tonight, put them in your freezer. You can finish this at any time. But if you are gonna be cooking your potatoes tonight, we're gonna set your oven for 425, and we are going to season and coat these puppies in Parmesan cheese. And then we are going to put them in the oven, and they're gonna do their thing. This is pretty straightforward, right? So if we're not making these potatoes right now, we're only gonna do the blanch up to the blanching part. If we are gonna have them today, then we're gonna do the whole thing. But this is just a little tip. Maybe this is gonna help you so that you're thinking, oh man, tomorrow burgers. By the way, a homemade burger with these Parmesan potatoes, it's so good. So let's say, you know, burgers. Okay, we're having burgers on Tuesday. Monday night, I'm gonna go ahead and blanch my potatoes. Okay, girl, you're in the kitchen cleaning anyway. You could put some potatoes on to boil. It's really not a huge deal. But these are habits that we kind of fall out of line with. I know that that's probably not the right way of saying things. I feel like my brain isn't braining today, so you'll have to excuse me. So these are habits just that we haven't experienced, so we haven't been keeping up with. That's what I meant to say. So that's the process for the potatoes. So let's get to it. This is such an easy recipe, really. And also by parboiling them, you're cutting down the cooking time, because I don't know about you, if you're gonna roast potatoes, sweet Jesus, it takes forever. It takes forever. I don't know why it takes so long. So I started doing this parboil thing, and I figured out it really helps to cut down on the cooking time. All right, we know what our strategy is. Let's get going on this recipe. So I saw Cooks Illustrated the other day on their Instagram that baking soda is the only substance that will get rid of pesticides, because pesticides seem to live in an acidic environment. So they mentioned, make sure you soak your vegetables, especially if they're not organic, for at least 30 seconds in a baking soda and water solution to get rid of any pesticides. I'm just gonna let this sit for a little bit. I like to let them sit because sometimes there's like a weird piece of skin that ends up coming off or whatever. So I'm just gonna let them sit for a minute before I cut them up. I'm gonna cut them into wedges, and then we will parboil them for about 8 minutes. Add baking soda to your hot water when you're boiling your potatoes. I know it sounds crazy, but let me tell you, it makes for a crispier potato, and I would rather have a crispy potato than a soggy potato. This isn't mashed potatoes. This is like a crispy home fry. I have my potatoes in here, and of course I forgot to set an alarm. That's just something that I would do. But I've had these in here for a little while. here's the deal. So you want to take a fork, and these aren't quite done enough. I want it to not be 100% done, but be mostly done. Why does that remind me of The Princess Bride? Mostly done. And then we're gonna crank the oven up to 425. Like, see, this one's really good. We're gonna crank the oven up to 425, and we're really gonna crisp these guys. And with the Parmesan cheese, it's gonna be amazing. Okay, so we boiled our potatoes, we blanched them and put them in the ice water. What are we gonna put in our seasoning? So what I want you to do is make sure your potatoes are dry. So we don't want them wet going into the spice mixture. So make sure they've been in a colander. You can also lay them out on a cookie sheet or on your counter, and just put them on a dishcloth and wait until they're dry, or pat them dry, whatever. What we're gonna do is take a large bowl, we're gonna put olive oil in there, and then we're gonna add in our seasonings. Now, there are a couple seasoning mixes that I do like, even though most spice mixes I make myself, just because that's what I do. So I really like Flavor God, and they don't have salt in their mixes, one of the reasons why I like them. So their everything seasoning is amazing. So I'll add that. Sometimes I'll do ranch potatoes and they have a ranch seasoning, or I'll take my buttermilk ranch powder, and we're just gonna toss gently these potatoes that are now like little delicate flowers, right? We're gonna toss these gently in this mixture. So we have our seasonings, and we also have a liberal amount of olive oil. Everything needs to be coated, okay? Everything. Once that's done, you're gonna wanna finely grade Parmesan cheese. And you're gonna need more Parmesan cheese than you think. Probably, if you're gonna use the whole bag, probably 2 cups of Parmesan cheese. Now, you can lay them on a cookie sheet and cover them with Parmesan cheese if you want. What I found though is to have the best texture, you really wanna make sure your potatoes coated in this olive oil concoction with your spice mix, and then coat it in Parmesan cheese. That is the way. Remember The Mandalorian? This is the way. This is the way. So once we have everything coated in the Parmesan cheese, we're just gonna put it in the oven. We want a high heat. We want something like 425. I set my timer for probably about 20 minutes, and then I check on it. That's a good time to flip. If your potatoes are not roasty toasty, make sure they have a crispy bottom before you flip. And yeah, and that's it. So we just want both sides to be crispy. And that's it. That's it. I mean, this is not a really difficult recipe. It has a few steps. It takes a little bit of pre-planning, but let me tell you, these potatoes are so delicious. They are delicious with homemade ranch. They're delicious with ketchup. They're delicious on their own. They're amazing. So please try these. These are great. I want you to try them and I want you to comment and let me know how you liked them. Let me know if this is something that would be delicious with, like I said, a homemade burger, or you know what would be amazing? Something that you get at a restaurant would be like beef tips in a brown gravy that maybe you make with like butter and some other yummy stuff and pan drippings, like a beef tip thing like that with these potatoes. Yes. Look at these gorgeous potatoes. Like, how freaking gorgeous is that? Dip in a little homemade ranch. This is so good. You need to make this. It's delicious. All right, so that is the Parmesan potato. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in my next video. By the way, do not forget to like and subscribe and do all the things. If you are watching to the end, oh, you know I love you. Please share this video with someone who you know needs these crispy Parmesan potatoes in their life. All right, friends, I'll see you in my next video.